Hi everyone, my name is Holly Hall from askhollyhall.com. I'm a master astrologer, clairvoyant life coach, neurolinguistic programming certified, as well as past life regression hypnosis. And I have extremely vivid dreams many a night since I could remember. So I'm quite well versed in that as well too. I work with my clients and coach with my clients to help them better their life from 0 to 10. Basically, if you can ask a question, I can help you find the answer and give you the answer. And we use timeline cycles, right? But what I really love about what I do is that I can take you and I can look at somebody that's in your life. It might be a relative, a family member, a child, a partner, a potential partner, it might be a boss or a neighbor. And in that, what I do is I look up their chart, their soul's manual. Imagine if you were born with a manual. Imagine all of the answers that you would get. All you'd have to do is go to the index page or flip a page and find out. Well, I am that manual because I interpret the language of the stars, the language of the universe. It's ancient history. What I'm going to tell you today is I'm going to share with you how you can discover why a person in your life is acting the way that they are. It might be a general personality trait that they have, or it might be a temporary situation that they're in. Now, in order to determine the difference between the temporary disposition that they're having, or it's a permanent, more of a long term, it's part of their characteristics, that's hard for you to determine as a layman. I can do that for you. But this is going to be a little bit of a trick that can help you out. So what I want you to do is Google, what is my moon sign calculator? Moon sign, or just moon sign calculator. Those ones are really, really easy. So all you have to do is they do ask you for the time of birth. But what I would do is, if you don't know the time of birth, and there's absolutely no way of you receiving the time of birth, because you do want to try, is just put it in the morning. Put it about 6 in the morning, 3 to 6 in the morning. That's when most people are born. Okay. Now I'll give you a second tip so that you can tell, whether you've got the right moon sign or not. The moon sign represents, it changes every 2.5 days. So every 2.5 days, somebody has a different moon sign when they're born, and there's different degrees. So that's a whole nother ball of wax. So what I want you to do is you're going to punch in the person's birth date. You can try it on yourself first, okay? Punch in the birth date, and if you have the birth time, the place is extremely important as well. So hopefully you have that. If not, let's just go for it. And then you're going to look up the moon sign. The moon sign is their emotional response to day-to-day life, and it's how they react emotionally. So give you an example. I have an Aquarius moon. So this Aquarius moon makes it so that when I'm emotionally stressed for the day, I tend to detach. And how you can tell I'm detaching, or my partner can tell I'm detaching, is I will become irritated or irritable or distant, or he'll say, "What's wrong?" And I'll say, "Nothing," or "I don't want to talk about it," or "I want to be alone." Okay, this is on an emotional bad day. On an emotional good day, I'm really into anything that's eclectic and surreal, thinking outside of the box, anything that's unique and different and esoteric. So if I can have a conversation with somebody, for instance, I was on a hike this morning, and her and I really click when it comes to that kind of a conversation. So I was on a high for 2 hours of my walk, which seemed like it didn't even last long enough because we had so much more to talk about because we clicked, is because we were talking about all of those interests that I have, which is very similar to the interests that she has. So that fired me up to talk about things that are outside of the box, and feeling like we're kind of alienated from society, or we're different than everybody else. We like to pride ourselves on being different than everybody else. And so what's going to happen is, with my husband, his moon is in Pisces. Way different, even though they're one sign apart. Way different. My husband, yes, emotionally, he can want his space and his distance when he's not in a good place, which that's a good match, right? However, when it comes to his reactive, see, the Aquarius is very cerebral. So there's a tendency to be very intellectual, to intellectualize all the emotions immediately and then respond intellectually immediately to the environment. And so with him, there's a tendency for him to get emotional about it. So for instance, if he's got a family member that's going through some emotional stress, he will feel emotional as well. He's empathic. He feels the exact same emotion that at other pieces, but he's also a man. So men are not raised, okay, and I'm sorry, men, but you're not raised by society alone, through the educational system, the judicial system, the governing body. Nothing educates a man to be in touch with their emotions. But women are to be in touch with their emotions. In fact, we're oversensitive, right? Even if I intellectualize something, I will be considered by some oversensitive, when really I feel like I'm completely not attached to the emotional part of it. I am being intellectual about it and just want to have sort of a masculine conversation about my intellect around an emotion, right? So, and then with him also, his response time is more absorbent. So he needs time to absorb it. He needs time to sit with it, or he might even pretend it's not even there. Sort of start daydreaming away, saying this is really not, I don't know what's happening. I'm starting to think about it. And I go, oh, look at what happened with my car. I've got to fix that. Sort of a squirrel. And that's what the moon in Pisces can go to. Now, however, when you start to become aware of this strong, especially for a man, it's not easy, this strong moon in Pisces, which is where he's getting to right now, they're like the sages. They're like the gurus, very spiritual, very clear in understanding empathically and sympathetically situations in life. So they don't get as attached. The Aquarius wants to be friendly, and wants everybody to get along in a group, in a crowd, and wants to be involved in that. And the moon in Pisces is, I'm good on my own. Don't want to invite me to your party? I don't care. I'm fine. Right? So this is the big difference. Now, if you've got a partner, like you could have an Aries moon, for instance, and you're going to be very reactive immediately to your bad day, to somebody who pissed you off at work, somebody who cut you off on the street, and your response is going to be immediate and intense, and maybe even slamming doors in the kitchen or slamming down a cup when you're having a conversation, and you might be a little louder than you normally would be. And this can be abrasive for people that are more of a passive moon. They're kind of going to go, oh, okay, don't want to engage, don't like aggressiveness. But what's really cool about an Aries moon is they get over it fast. It comes out, then it's done. And 2 hours later, if you go like, hey, I know what you were upset about, let's talk about it, they'll be like, no, I'm good, I'm over it. Got it all out. But if you're like a Cancer moon or Scorpio moon, for instance, the Scorpio moon is still brooding on it. They're still resentful about it. They're still thinking about it. They're still pondering it. They're psychoanalyzing it. And they might even show some resentment for quite some time. You can't even get through that bitterness or that anger that they may have. But they're great research, and they're passionate, and they want to work on the psychology of a relationship, for instance, specifically with a partner. And specifically if they're female, they can also hide their emotions. They don't want to deal with it. They want to be able to control it. I'm going to control my emotions. You're not going to see how angry I am. You're not going to see how passionate I am. So can you imagine having this heads up? You know what your partner needs on an everyday basis. And so that you don't take it personally. That's what it did for me. I don't take it personally when I know how. Sometimes I forget. Yeah, sometimes I forget that my husband isn't one to respond immediately. Now, we've had to develop a code, right? Because we both have different languages. So because he tends to sit there and think and ponder it for a while, I'm kind of going like, I'm waiting, And so there's like, he'll repeat what I said so I know I was heard. Okay, it's not to be demeaning in any way. It's just so that I know that I was heard. And he'll be like, I'll get back to you later. Or can I talk to you after? Or concentrate, because they tend to want to concentrate on one thing. So it'll be, I'm concentrating on something, and let me know that. Let me know that there's a concentration of that. Now, there's so many different other layers to looking at someone's astrological chart, but that's the one thing that you could do that can give you a deep understanding. It's really great for children, to understand what your child's everyday knee-jerk reaction is to life, and what are their personal needs that have to be met. Okay, so take a look at that. Look up the moon calculator. What is my moon calculator astrologically? And then you can just look up moon sign in Virgo, moon sign in Aquarius, moon sign in Aries. Google it and you'll get, now just don't put sign, put moon sign. And if you know the sun sign, you can even do the combination. What is my moon sign and what is my sun sign? What does my moon sign in Virgo and my sun sign in Aquarius mean? That combination is going to be completely different than another type of combination. Got a dog kind of chewing on a bone there. So the other thing is, like, what if it's the degrees are only from 0 to 30? Okay, so if you put 6 o'clock in the morning because you don't know the time, and the moon is somewhere between 23 and 30, the degree, then if they were born later, then their moon's not going to be in that sign. It's going to be in the next sign. So all you do, look at the characteristics of both and see which one resonates better. You're like, oh yeah, that one nailed it. No. And you have to only look at their emotional response, not at how they intellectualize, not how they communicate, not how they get angry. Okay, not the kind of job that they've chosen emotionally. It gets way more convoluted and complicated than that, as I've been studying this for many, many years, many lifetimes, because I'm a star child. However, this is a good head start for you. AskHollyHall.com. Namaste.